Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Culliff, along here with Scott Michlin.
Good morning. It is Thursday, May 20th.
It is.
2021. Week number...
61.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Whenever you do a follow-up, really, you're making me self-conscious.
Right.
Now.
Well, we're waiting on internet confirmation.
So it'll come.
We'll get that going. But yes, welcome, everyone. It is our COVID-19 Community Information Program from KSJE. We appreciate you being here because we have a great show lined up, more great guests, and there's still stuff to talk about, even though we've been through this for 62 weeks.
We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, though.
We are. There is some light.
Yeah.
It's not an oncoming train. It's an actual light at the end of the tunnel. Right?
Let's hope it's not an oncoming train.
Let's hope not. But
jeez.
Yeah, right. But here are our guests coming up. We're going to hear about summer kids programs at the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Juan County. And also there is news of some rental assistance from the state of New Mexico. And so we're going to pass along that information as well with our guest this morning. So that's where we are. So
Great.
How about that?
Perfect.
So we'll get started and talk a little bit about some of the things like the latest map that came out yesterday, right? The state had an update. We knew that San Juan County was not going to move from turquoise because under the new guidelines that once you're in turquoise, you get to stay in turquoise for 4 weeks. And so, as you can see from the latest map, San Juan County is still in turquoise. In fact, the whole state, except for Chavez County, Roswell area, is in turquoise, and Roswell is now in green. So
right.
That's where things are. However, when you look at the numbers for San Juan County, had the state looked at our numbers, we would not have stayed in turquoise, unfortunately.
We would have gone back to green.
We would have gone backwards, at least probably to green. But as we can see, our positivity rate is 8.02. It needs to be 7.5 or lower. And our fully vaccinated rate, though, is looking good at 56.5%. So that's that's positive.
That is positive.
But the positivity rate is high. However, the cases are coming down, which hopefully will be counted in the next update, which will be, June 4th. Mm-hmm. And so we're hoping that maybe by that time our cases will be back down and maybe we can stay in turquoise for 4 more weeks.
Yes, and if the whole state reaches a vaccination level of 60%, the map goes away. The map goes away.
I want to show you that in a minute. That's right. But that's where we are. So that was the latest one. Here is the vaccinated map as well. A different map. There are 2 different dashboards now that the state is doing. The one is the COVID cases that we just showed you, and this is now the COVID vaccinations. And so again, San Juan County is in the darker green, which means that we are doing better than some other counties as far as percentage of residents that are vaccinated. And as you can see, we're at that 56.5%, the percent of residents fully vaccinated, and the percent of residents with at least 1 shot is at 70%.
Very good.
So if everybody that got their first shot goes back and gets their second shot, we will have hit that 60% and then some.
Right.
Right? We'll be at that 70%. And I was actually shared more information that I think you will find interesting because you like numbers.
Yeah.
You're kind of wonky.
I'm very wonky.
About numbers.
I'm wonky about a lot of things.
We now have the data, and thank you, New Mexico Department of Health, by zip code.
Oh, very fun. Oh.
Look at that.
I do like this map.
There you go. And Megan hasn't seen that before.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
And so let me go through it briefly with everybody. But we put this in by, best to need some help.
Best to need some help.
Here's where we are. But according to the Department of Health, again, these are folks that are eligible for the vaccine, 16 plus. And Kirtland Shiprock water flow, 100%
on both 1 and fully vaccinated. That's impressive.
How about that? Right?
Very impressive.
And then we go into Fruitland at almost 70%. And then we look at Farmington zip codes of 87402 is almost 50%. Farmington zip code 87401 is 41%. Flor Vista 49%. Bloomfield and La Plata and Aztec are all lower. And so I guess the message would be for folks in those communities, consider getting the vaccine. If you have questions, talk to your doctor. We've said that time and time again because it's a personal choice. But again, if we can get those numbers up, that will help us get to that 60%.
Yes.
Across the state. So, but I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
So again, thank you from the Department of Health for putting that together and sharing it with us so we can share it with you, because I think that's really an interesting graphic.
Yes.
So there you go. Our first guest is calling in. Shall we
go to the phones?
Shall we go to the phones and talk to them? Good morning. You're on KSJE. Thank you for calling in this morning.
Good morning. This is Michelle from the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. We are good, thank you. Michelle Meyering, the new executive director, I believe, right, with the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington and Bloomfield. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Yes, this is my 10th week.
Your 10th week, and you're on
wow.
there you go.
And you're stuck with us already in the first 10 weeks.
Short straw.
I
That must have been what happened.
Hey, back in Santa Barbara, I was a co-host for Teen Sport Radio.
Oh,
I'm
well.
a veteran at this.
Well, there you go. No wonder you said yes to my request so quickly. I appreciate that. So wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for calling in, Michelle, and again, congratulations and welcome to Farmington. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the programs that you are planning for kids this summer as we hope, fingers crossed, things are opening back up. And I know you and your staff have probably been hard at work trying to figure out how to manage kids coming to the clubs, and you manage both Farmington and Bloomfield Boys and Girls Club, we should mention. So can you give us kind of an overview of what you're looking at, again, thus far? And we understand that conditions could change.
Right. They could change, and fingers crossed that they don't. And we have a couple excellent summer camp opportunities for kids this summer. And the best thing is they are all free of charge. We are not charging for these summer camps. So both our Bloomfield and our Farmington locations will have all-day camps for students ages 6 through 18, Monday through Friday, starting at 7:45 and going through 5:30. We will have healthy meals and snacks and all sorts of fun activities, a kind of a space theme this summer with different STEAM projects and fun outdoor activities. So we're encouraging people to call in and sign up for those programs. Right now, we're almost at our wait list, but we are encouraging everybody to sign up in case some drop or some just need 2 days a week and others, want 3 days a week. We can help fill those slots. We want, they're used to having about 350 kids, so we know we're not going to be at that level, but we want as many kids to participate as we can. In order for that to happen, we need to have staff. So it's another thing we're doing right now is hiring staff for the summer. So if you're listening and you want to work with some fun, amazing kids, please call the Boys and Girls Club and let them know, and we'll get you the application process. We also have an amazing partnership with the school district. So at Animas, there's going to be the summer brain camp for grades 2nd through 5th, and we have one more registration day on Saturday here at the club, the Farmington Club, from 1 to 3. These are half-day programs and lots of fun activities Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is a field trip. Plus they get healthy food and free STEAM kits, and again, all these programs are free, so you can't, there's no way that you don't want to sign your child up for these programs.
I agree. You'd be a fool not to. So
I know, especially at the clubs where it's all day.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Lifesaver for so many parents, I'm sure. So let's talk about a little bit of the nuts and bolts about what camp looks like, particularly if it's ages 6 through 18. How are we dividing kids? I know if I was a parent, I wouldn't necessarily want my 7-year-old hanging out with a 13-year-old. So how does that look?
Oh, no, absolutely not. So we manage them in cohorts. And that's why we're encouraging everybody to apply as soon as possible, because our numbers are limited. And what we do is we'll fill, the 1st and 2nd grade cohorts, the 3rd and 4th grade cohorts, the 5th and 6th. And we actually have a separate teen center. It's a separate room only for teens to do some fun, engaging activities. We're going to be working with San Juan College and hopefully getting work study students over here to help them with, post-secondary pathways and getting them excited for what their future can look like, whether that's going into the trades or going into the military or going into a certificate program or a college, whatever, the interests those students have. But they are in a separate room, and we're going to be utilizing the entire facility and operating in cohorts of 1 to 15 so that we keep our numbers very manageable and the kids have, a great time with their leader. But yeah, we don't mix those different grade levels. The only time we would is if we pair up like a high school student with a younger kid for like a peer reading buddy or something in that context. But otherwise, we keep those core cohorts very separate.
Very good. And so throughout the year, obviously Boys and Girls Club have programs throughout the year. So are those also free? Is this like something where if your kid goes to summer camp and catches the Boys and Girls Club bug, they could enroll throughout the school year?
They can enroll throughout the school year. We'll start that registration towards the end of summer. In the pre-COVID, there was, I think it was a $15 yearly membership fee. Through COVID, that has been waived. So if we can continue with great funders, and I have to tell you, we had our golf tournament this past weekend, and the community of Farmington is so behind the Boys and Girls Club and the mission and believing in these students. So if we continue that funding where we can continue to offer the programming free of charge, we absolutely will. That will, of course, depend on funding that comes in. But otherwise, it's a $15 annual fee. So
that's pretty good.
Manageable.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
You can't find much for $15 for
a year.
For kids these days, for sure.
No.
And Michelle,
no, not at all.
And what you're talking about, you mentioned, I think for Farmington, is this similar programs in the Bloomfield area too for those parents who are listening this morning?
Absolutely, for Bloomfield, 6 to 18 years old and operating 7:45 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. They do fill up a little bit faster because it is a little bit smaller club, but they will be running the same programs this summer. We're going to do a lot of fun activities. We are maintaining the mask requirements, even if staff is vaccinated, because our kids are not. So the young ones, they're not eligible to be vaccinated. So we are requiring masks and making sure all surfaces are clean and washing hands a lot. So we are still going to follow that. We don't want to have a situation where we have to shut down the club. So we've been very proactive in ensuring that we are on top of or above protocols. But we're just looking forward to having more kids in the center.
Very good. And so one more time, how do I register my kid for camp?
So if you're looking for the Animus half-day camp for a 2nd through 5th grader, you come to the Farmington Club this Saturday, May 22nd, from 1 to 3 p.m. to register them. If you're looking for Bloomfield or Farmington, you can call us at 505-327-6396 and make an appointment. And if you're looking to work with these wonderful young people, call the same number, 505-327-6396. Let them know you're interested, and we will get those forms to you.
Very good. Well, Michelle Meyering, it's a pleasure to have you on the program and in our community. Thank you so very much.
Thank you both, Scott and Megan.
Thank you. We'll talk again soon. Thank you so much. That's Michelle Meyering. She is the new executive director of the Farmington Boys and Girls Clubs, our guest this morning here on KSJE during our COVID-19 Community Information Program. There are a bunch of vaccine events that are coming up in the community that we want to pass along. Of course, again, our state has been at the forefront of getting the vaccine out to residents who want the vaccine into the communities, and we're seeing more and more now vaccine events that are popping up. Here's the list, and it's quite large number than what we've seen
Yes.
in the past. And so again, Saturday at the Farmington Public Library from 8 to 10. That's a new site. Tuesday, May 25th, out at McGee Park from 4 to 6 p.m. Wednesday, May 26th, will be at 10:30 to noon at the San Juan County Commission Chambers in Aztec. Thursday, May 27th, here at San Juan College, HHPC, 11 to 1. And then Friday, May 28th, next Friday at the Farmington Civic Center, 11 a.m. to noon. So,
Very good. Get your vaccine.
there you go. These are happening. You can still register at vaccinenm.org to reserve your dose. And then I believe you could almost choose what location and clinic you want to go to get your shot. Here at San Juan College, we should mention tomorrow is a student drive-through vaccination clinic. And so the college is offering this. It is Johnson & Johnson vaccine, so the one and done. That's from 10 a.m. to noon here at the Henderson Fine Arts Center parking lot B. It is free to all students. Just show your student ID badge, and you're being asked to fill out the vaccine form, which you can find at sanjuancollege.edu/vaccines.
Very good.
That is happening, and getting students all vaccinated for summer,
Good idea.
right?
As they should.
How about that? So that is happening here at San Juan College tomorrow, so everybody can check that out. Another clinic that we want to mention, actually, is coming up in June, Wednesday, June 9th in La Plata, the Upper La Plata Water Users Association on Highway 170, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So again, we were talking about some of those other areas that don't have the higher vaccination percentages. Here's a clinic going on in that community, so that's happening from 4 to 6 at La Plata, Upper La Plata Water Users Association. So you can check that out. And again, vaccine, you can register at vaccinenm.org to get on the list and get ready to go and reserve your dose for that clinic if you would like to do that in June. So
Very good.
there you go. Let's see. What else do we want to share? We will talk a little bit about rental assistance with our next guest in just a moment as we wait for them to call us. But again, the state is certainly trying to get everyone to get vaccinated as we want to get to that 60%. And so again, that is the magic number, I guess, for lack of a better term, right?
It is.
Because that is when the state has said that the color-coded maps will go away.
Right.
And, we were on target to reach that by the end of June, and we're getting into June very quickly here. So hopefully that the state is still happening. Here are some of the statistics from the state of New Mexico from yesterday. We can take a look. As I mentioned, San Juan County's case numbers were lower than they have been, which was great to see. We had 12 new cases in San Juan County yesterday out of the total 160 cases that the state reported yesterday. So now we're at about 201,489 cases in New Mexico. 4 deaths in the state reported yesterday, 0 deaths in San Juan County, and another 127 recoveries. So we always like to share that good news as well. The other stories that we're tracking at KSJE.com, of course, the mask mandate. The CDC came out recently. Talk a little bit about wearing masks and not wearing masks. If you're fully vaccinated, seems to be less restrictions, I guess, if you're fully vaccinated. So the state announcing they're going to follow those CDC guidelines. Some stores have kind of relaxed their mask mandates for fully vaccinated folks. Others have not. So again, it's kind of depends on where you go, I think. And I would encourage folks to just abide by whatever that store is doing.
I would agree, yeah. If
Right.
it has a sign, abide by the sign.
Exactly.
So,
There you go.
but, I mean, the mask news is just so interesting to me because there's a diverse realm of opinions, don't you think, when it comes
There
to...
are a lot of opinions.
And, the CDC finally releases these guidelines for fully vaccinated folks. You don't have to wear a mask. But, there's all sorts of concerns. How do we know if somebody who's not wearing a mask is actually vaccinated, et cetera, et cetera? So anyway, the controversy continues,
Yeah,
I guess.
it's kind of the honor system.
Yeah.
And we haven't done too well with that. But I mean,
Honor systems never work.
Right.
Come on.
But hopefully, again, it's one way to get out of this is to see more folks vaccinated. I guess that is my point.
That's
So, and again,
The point,
if folks
yeah.
have a concern, we've asked them to, just talk to your healthcare professional, and
Yeah.
they can answer any of the concerns that you have, because it may not be right for everybody. I completely understand that. If folks have some chronic health conditions, they may not be a good candidate for the vaccine, no matter how old they are. So, there's that. Next guest.
Great.
Shall we go to the phones? That's when you say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I said, yeah.
Good morning.
Great.
Were you
It's
nodding?
The same thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was nodding
I'm sorry.
for the radio listeners.
It doesn't help with the
there
radio.
Was nodding.
That's true. Good morning. You're on KSJE. Thank you for calling in this morning.
Hi, this is Henry Valdez from the Department of Finance and Administration.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the Emergency Rental Assistance Program.
Thank you for calling in, Mr. Valdez. We appreciate your time this morning. And yes, we've been talking a bit about that program that the state is now making available to residents. And so, can you fill us in a little bit on how that works? This is it's a bunch of money too, as I understand it. But just kind of explain how it works, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, thank you for having me. So the state of New Mexico will grant $170 million of federal aid to New Mexicans for rental and utility assistance to households experiencing financial hardship due to COVID-19 outbreak. So that financial hardship could come in a variety of ways. For most people, it'll probably be due to employment, reduced hours, a furlough, being laid off, having to go on to unemployment. For others, it could be an increased medical expense due to COVID-19, or if they had to bury a family member or something of that nature that had, caused them to fall back on rent, or perhaps just, make it a lot harder to pay rent.
Understood. And so this is something that is available, I guess, as funds are there, and so, I mean, this is something that you want folks to apply for sooner than later, I would think.
Yes, definitely. So to apply, you need to go to renthelpnm.org. Again, it's renthelpnm.org, and people can go on there and they can apply on the online portal. It's all digital, and they can log into there. They can see the FAQ, which will have the documentation. That it's really important that people look that over to see the list of documents that they can use for their application. They don't need all of them, but they will need some depending on their situation. There's also, this is an income-based program, so this is for moderate and low income, and there's an index there that kind of will show you based on counties in New Mexico where they fit in. But yeah, so that's the best way to apply is through the online portal. But we do, we understand that New Mexico is a diverse state in terms of technology, and so we offer a toll-free number where people could call and speak to a representative and have a paper application mailed directly to them if they need to, and that number is 1-833-485-1334. Again, that's 1-833-485-1334.
Very good. And so I believe that for a period of time during COVID, there was like a rental forbearance that was happening, but that you were eventually going to have to pay that back. Is that right? And does this assistance program help with that as well?
Yeah, so there was those moratoriums that were kind of blocking evictions. So people some people didn't pay rent for a whole year, and they just weren't able to. But those are, those were extended for a couple months, but they're going to go away eventually. So this program is really geared towards helping to make sure that people have a place to live, right? And so we don't want people to fall into homelessness or families to be displaced. So we will pay up to 12 months of back rent and utilities and up to 3 months into the future. So a lot of people made very hard decisions. They borrowed money from family to ensure that they paid rent and they weren't at risk of eviction at all. But so we don't want to, we want to still be able to help them out. So we can pay up to 3 months into the future. So I think that's really important that this isn't just for back rent, that this is future rent as well. But we have made awards for some people that didn't pay rent for a whole year. And thankfully their landlord was understanding and was able to allow them to stay during that time, and we were able to pay that back rent to ensure that they still have a place to live.
And that kind of brings up my next question for you, Mr. Valdez, which is for landlords. If I'm a landlord and I have some tenants maybe who have not been paying their rent and I've been kind of just keeping them in their place because of these other things that we've talked about being in effect, can I encourage my tenants to maybe sign up for this program to try to get my money eventually?
Oh, absolutely. So what we do, so we are encouraging landlords to reach out to tenants that are behind and encourage them to apply. We also need landlords to fill out a W-9, and they can go to the same website, renthelpnm.org, and there's a landlord tab that will take them to the landlord page, and they could download a W-9, fill that out, because we're trying to pay landlords directly. That's kind of the most streamlined way and most in compliance with the federal government guidelines. We will pay applicants directly if we need to, but we would prefer to streamline the process and pay landlords. But yes, absolutely. The more help we can get with getting the word out and pushing people to not only apply, but to ensure that their application has the appropriate documentation when they apply. And so it's really important, that when they go to the website, they really review the eligibility requirements, the documentation, to ensure that when they fill out their application that it is complete. And so then that way when we get it, and if we have their landlord's W-9, we can expedite the process and get the money out the door.
Very good. Well, Henry Valdez of the New Mexico Department of Finance, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I just want to add that this program is specifically for renters, but we do have a homeowners program that's going to be launching really soon. And we know that there are a lot of homeowners that are in a very similar situation, that they're behind on their mortgages, behind on their utilities, and so we want to be able to help them as well. So that'll be launching very shortly, and so I encourage everyone to add us on social media or to check even renthelpnm.org, because we'll have some banners that will redirect them to those homeowner assistant pages.
Very good. Well, it sounds like we'll have you back when that happens. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. I'll come on anytime.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Henry Valdez, the Mexico Department of Administration and Finance. We appreciate that information very, very much, because I know there's a lot of folks who, as we've been talking about, have had trouble paying the rent and not becoming homeless, and that was what this program is all about, as Mr. Valdez mentioned. So good opportunities for folks to take advantage of these things. So very good. Ready for our next guest?
Let's do it.
You ready for it? Okay, let's do it over here on the phone. Let's go to our next guest who's on the phone. Good morning. You're on KSJE. Thank you for calling in this morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, Scott?
I am well, thank you. And that is the unmistakable voice of Mr. Mike Patch from the Aztec Boys and Girls Club. Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
We are talking with folks a little bit about some of your plans for the summer, Mike Patch, for your club members and others who might want to look for something to do with their kids. And so I know, as we've mentioned, conditions are changing. But what are you planning for today?
Well, we are looking at a very full summer. We are functionally sold out at this moment, reaching a point where, given the state guidelines and guidelines that have been passed to us, we can't put more than 10 kids in a group at a time and maintain some of the distancing and other issues. So we've limited ourselves to 40 kids this year, which is still better than last year when we only could have 25. And we're doing things in and around the community with an eye to, as they open things up, adding in field trips and going places. And we've been talking about teaching the kids to paddleboard, and we got a few things in our back pocket for as things change and get a little more liberal that we're going for.
Very good. And Mike, is there a wait list then?
We are going to be starting a wait list actually today. We've got there are 2 spots that are open in the program right now, and there's about 12 applications that are out. So as soon as we hit those 2 spots, we will start a wait list, and we expect that to start sometime this morning the way things have been going.
Very good. And so with the limitations, I guess, then you're able to just open up as much as you can. And so are these going to be full-day programs, Mike, or morning and afternoon, or how are you splitting things up if you are?
It's a full-day program. The kids come, they get breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack. They're here. They can come as early as 7:30 in the morning and stay as late as 6 o'clock. Of course, that's to fit families and work schedules and everything else. So we are here to serve the kids, and we're adding in, or trying to add in, some educational things. One of the tragedies of the last 15 months has been what's happening to kids and education. And it's been unavoidable, and that's not to blame or anything, but we're looking at the latest study I saw a couple of weeks ago said kids in the best situations have lost between 5 and 7 months of education value. Kids in more average or worse situations could be more than a year. And it's just, we've essentially failed an entire generation of grade level. So we're trying to add in, we've always done reading and things during the summer, but we're trying to add in some programs that will actually add some school value, but be fun at the same time. Nobody wants to come to the club and take a test.
That was my question. I'm like, you're going to make it fun, Mike, right? Jeez, you're going to
Yes.
come to school summer camp.
Right.
No, it's got to be fun. It's got to be, hey, you're going to come and you're going to learn something. Our kids this summer are going to spend a week learning about dinosaurs, and we actually are building fossil beds that they are going to then excavate. So it's going to be fun, believe me.
Excellent.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's
So
good.
I do want to, because I saw a video with you explaining what the Boys and Girls Club did during 2020, and there were some really cool ways that you kept connected even when you had to shut down the place and Lysol it. Can you share a bit about that? Because we do like to, honor and highlight those stories too.
Well, last year was such a crazy, just off-the-wall, unexpected, nobody could have predicted what happened. March 13th of last year, they said, close your doors and you're going to be closed indefinitely. By March 17th, we were delivering food boxes to kids that were shut in and couldn't get to the school distributions. We were closed for 13 weeks under those orders. Our little minivan drove over 3,500 miles and delivered almost 2,200 food boxes for kids. It's been a matter of how can we serve and how can we do. We then added programming packets and things the kids could do at home. We turned around, and when we were able to open, we served what we could, which was 25 at a time. When the schools didn't open when originally scheduled, we extended our summer program and started adding that education component where the kids could get on our computers and do their schoolwork. And we've done full-day education programs all through the year. I was just telling my board members I'm in the process of purchasing some Cat 5 cables and doing some rearranging. This will be the 7th physical change to site that we have done since last March, where we just keep adapting the site to fit whatever the needs are as schools change, as they go to hybrid, as they come back again. It's a matter of being on top of it and serving whatever the community needs.
So how would I support the club, Mike?
Oh, there's a lot of ways to support the club. Right now, we're getting ready to have our annual golf tournament. It's going to be August 6th, and we're just putting together the information on that, and that should be on our Facebook page and website hopefully by the end of next week. And we're looking for golfers. We're looking for people that just want to donate or want to have a sign at a hole saying, hey, this is my business, and let me tell you all about it. We've got some big news to go with it. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say this, so I'll go ahead and say it anyways, but Hillcorp is going to be a named sponsor for our golf tournament this year. So we're going to...
Well, that's free publicity. Why wouldn't you say that?
Why wouldn't you say that?
I'm okay with you saying that. So
I hope you don't get a phone call later.
Congrats, Hillcorp.
I'm not sure it's open for release yet, but
okay.
Because we're just still working on the details. We've had wonderful support in the past from a couple of family foundations who like to lay a little bit quieter, but Hillcorp is certainly going to want us to shout the good word that they're doing and they're supporting in the community. So I feel fairly confident I can say that.
Good.
Very good. Well, Mike Patch, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited to see all the goings-ons at Boys and Girls Club in Aztec.
Well, we're excited for summer to come and to go back to the long days. They always tire us out, but they feel so good at the end of the summer and know that we've had real value impact. There's nothing beating what you can do with a kid and the experiences you can see through their eyes by the end of summer.
It's important work that you do. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
You bet. That's Mike Patch. He is Executive Director of the Aztec Boys and Girls Club, our guest this morning on KSJE. Lots of opportunities for kids, right?
So good.
Right?
It's so true. There's like actual, you said I was wonky. There are actual studies with numbers attached to them about how important summer camp is for children.
Studies that you have read, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mention it if I didn't read it.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Thank you.
The summation of it is it's super important. So even if you don't have a situation where the kid is struggling in any way, shape, or form, it's nothing but good for all types of child. So
my new nickname for you is Ms. Wonk.
I'll take it.
You're welcome. Hey, confirmation from the internet. Boom.
Oh, 60. Ooh, I was wrong.
Week 62.
I said 61.
Oh, see?
I'm getting lost.
You lost a week.
Where'd that week go?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Internet, and thank you, Calendar Queen,
Yes.
for keeping us accurate here. 62nd week here on the program during COVID. Here we are.
Here we are.
So, anyway.
So we have a couple more things. We have the watch list.
A couple more things to share. The watch list had more, more companies on the list is what I'm trying to say. Pardon me, everyone. And so here we are. We could take a look. Farmington Police Department had 2 rapid responses. Magistrate Court with 2. Sam's Club with 3. Target with 3. Salt Rivers Materials Group in Waterflow with 2. And there's more. We have Aztec Municipal Schools had 3. McCoy Elementary with 2. Park Avenue Elementary with 2. Bloomfield Early Childhood Center had 2. And then Country Club Elementary in Farmington with 2 rapid responses. Hermosa Middle, McKinley Elementary, and Piedra Vista High School all had 2. Ojo Amarillo Elementary in Fruitland with 3. And Kirtland Elementary School in Kirtland with 3 rapid responses. They're on the watch list. No companies or sites are on the closure list from the past week. But we always like to share that to just, again, remind folks of what's going on in the community.
Yep.
Because that's what that is posted for. The State Environment Department updates that list, I believe, on a daily basis still, and so you can check it out online. And finally, last but not least, we'll talk about the Johns Hopkins numbers.
Yes, on the new map.
Right.
So the United States confirmed cases are now at 33,027,500, and the United States confirmed deaths are now at 587,883.
Right. And we also have the new number in green, which is the vaccine doses that have been administered.
Yes, which are at 276,823,705.
Right. So that's encouraging.
That's very encouraging. That's a very high number.
That's a gigantic number.
It's a very, That's why initially I was like, that's worldwide, right? And I'm like, no, that's in the America, like United States.
So there you go, everybody. And then you could see, of course, the other countries that are dealing with this. And, of course, India, we hear a lot about that in the news and some of their cases.
Yeah.
They are
Terrible.
right behind us at 22 million. And Brazil and France and Turkey in that order. And then, of course, on the side, we kind of point out the daily cases, the graph. Again, those daily case numbers are going down. And that's what everyone has said is what we want to see. To get out of this, and so that's helpful after the big peaks that we saw again around December. That is important to see the number of deaths again also going down. So positive things, and then that green line on the bottom with the vaccine doses that's going way up, which is again positive news.
Yes.
So we're glad to see that, but. that is the information that we have for you this week, everybody. So we really do appreciate you tuning in again, and thank you to our radio partner KNMI. You can hear this show on Thursdays at noon on KNMI Radio, so we appreciate that. You can hear it on KSJE Radio this afternoon at 5:06 p.m. on Thursdays at 5:06, and of course join us live on social media Thursdays at 9 a.m. for just to get the very latest wit and witticisms of your co-hosts.
That's us.
That's us.
That's us.
Every
with,
Thursday.
With the wit and witticisms.
That's us, Ms. Wonk.
That's right. I don't have something for you yet, but
Okay. I bet I'll get something next week.
It'll come.
I bet there'll be something.
It's gonna come.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Again, until next Thursday, we will see you back here on KSJE, but stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.